Hello, BookTube. It is Benjamin here, and today I am doing the Halloween this or that tag. I saw this on Dane Reed's channel, so let's see how this goes, shall we? Dracula or Frankenstein. So I have to decide by two corpses, I guess, would be the thing. One that's well dressed and one that's cobbled together with the parts, itsy bitsy parts of various people out of an old room. Was it English graveyard? Uh, or hang out with the Romanian or a hodgepodge Prometheus kind of thing. I have to say Dracula, even though he's kind of an asshole, and Frankenstein's more of an innocent. So let's say Dracula, because he's more suave, I guess would be the proper term. Skellington or Sanderson. So we have Jack Skellington from Before the Nightmare Before Christmas. I have never seen that movie. I have no desire to see that movie. Not a big fan of Tim Burton and all his weird stuff. Don't get me wrong, I like weird stuff, but that stuff's just absurd, I guess would be the word. Absurd is the word. Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers? I would have to say Mr. Freddy Krueger. Now, is this if I can? I don't. There's no context to these. It's just this or that. So I have no idea. But probably not Freddy Krueger. I know I said I didn't. Then I just was thinking of his backstory. So no, he got what was coming to him. Freddy Krueger deserved to die. Simple as that. Just because it was mob justice doesn't mean the justice was wrong. And then we have Michael Myers, who likes to hunt down his sister. So some weird stuff going on there. So I'd have to say neither of them. Neither Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers, because they're both kind of gross. Vampires or werewolves? This is like Twilight, ain't it? All over again. Are we talking like the strain vampires? Are we talking Romanian vampires? Are we talking about Louisiana vampires? Just vampires. It's so narrow. So are we talking about like bags of blood that rise from the grave and just drain people's vitality? Are we talking about generic American movie vampires that just kill people, drink their blood, and they bury them? Are we talking about true blood vampires? See, it's the thing. So many types of vampires, and I have no idea what kind to specify. And then we have werewolves, which is pretty simple, I guess. Are we talking about Romanian werewolves? Or are we talking about like Fenrir from Norse mythology, because he was considered the father of werewolves? I will say werewolves in just a general context because they're less disgusting and less likely to give you a bad case of hepatitis, I would guess. So, yeah. So, definitely werewolves. There is that small risk of fleas and mange, but werewolves beats bloodborne pathogens from vampires. Witches or fairies? Now, are we talking about Malleus McFarlane witches? Are we talking about Salem witches? Are we talking about the Sanderson sisters witches? Are we talking about like the kind of witches from Hellboys that are all shriveled up and gross witches? Like, I don't. Are we talking about? I don't know. So then we have fairies. Are we talking about fairies, which is pretty narrow, even though there's like 1,200 different types? Let's just narrow it down and say brownies, the kinds you can use to clean your houses. So I'll say, but fairies like to trap people for centuries under the ground. Are we talking about changelings? Let's see, I don't know. As far as changeling goes, probably not. But fairies would probably be the best bet, even though in the grand scheme of things and all mythology and culture, I think fairies are a hell of a lot nastier than witches. Superheroes or supervillains? It's pretty simple. Supervillains. I mean, hell, look who the president is. I'm not going to specify what country because a lot of presidents are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Pirates or princesses? Uh, I think of Davy Jones's Ghost Ship, and I'm like, definitely pirates. Because there's a story of Blackbeard. He'd get his people good and drunk, and he'd have them sitting around the table in his cabin, and he'd get them really plastered on rum. And he would wait for them to be really, really drunk, and he'd ask them questions in reference to mutiny, and he'd have his pistol underneath the table. And if somebody said something he didn't like, pow. Kind of reminds me of Mr. Joseph Stalin in that regard, but yeah, I guess an asshole's an asshole regardless of the time and place. Candy corn or caramels? I love candy corn. I like the pumpkins, the candy pumpkins that are made from the same stuff. Caramels are disgusting. Yeah, just disgusting. I hate caramels. They're foul. Apple cider or pumpkin spice latte? Definitely apple cider. I hate pumpkin spice. It's disgusting. Pumpkin spice is one of the nastiest things on earth. If I had the option between drinking water or drinking pumpkin spice coffee or latte, I would pick the water because it's more beneficial. Pumpkin spice, what even is pumpkin spice? What, cinnamon and ginger? I think probably all it is. Because pumpkin doesn't have a spice. I remember recently, and when I was younger, I'm like, ooh, this canned pumpkin is going to taste really good like pumpkin pie. So I opened it. It was like July or something. Took a big chunk of that canned pumpkin out and then put it in my mouth. That was the foulest crap I ever ate. The only thing worse than that, which I'd actually prefer just straight raw pumpkin or squash over pumpkin spice crap. So yeah. Hayride or haunted house? I don't like either of them. I'd rather just walk through a cornfield at 3 o'clock in the morning to see if Hearn or the Great Hunt was going on. Because I don't like people. They make me sick. People are disgusting. And I think most readers prefer their books over their compatriots. Okay, costume party or spooky Netflix binge? I hate costume parties. I don't understand it. Even though it's allowing people to be their true nature. So, spooky Netflix binge, I would have to say the Netflix binge. Because there is a new show on Netflix that came out today. I can't remember exactly what it is. But I definitely do want to see it. It's a Netflix original series. It's about the end of the world. So, you guys are like, what? What is it? Netflix puts stuff about the end of the world every day. It kind of seems like. I don't know if we're going to have an apocalypse or what. But hopefully it won't be Halloween. And it's getting to be Samhain, or Samhain, so I will not be going outside after dark 5 days before Samhain and 5 days after. It's an old world superstition, but the veils are thin, and I'd rather not get kidnapped by fairies or abducted by witches, even though I'd like to see them try to pick me up. Telekinesis, I guess. So, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And just remember, if you're cold, they're cold, bring them inside.